Hi, my name is Emma Rowland, and I'm the founder and principal conductor of Sing Out Strong. Thanks for being here for opening up. The idea behind the campaign is to get more people thinking and talking about mental health, so I'm really glad you could join me. Today, I'm going to talk to you from my office about self-care and sacrifice. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. It was a shock to everyone, my family, my friends, and to me. I had a full nervous breakdown and eventually realised it was time for a drastic change. I've been working in choirs for about 20 years, since my first year at university in Oxford, and I knew that when I got better, I wanted to pursue my music further. But I was worried about how my mental health diagnosis would affect my work life. Um, Eventually, I had an idea to set up a series of choirs where the diagnosis didn't matter, where people could openly admit if they were struggling, having a hard time, and just wanted to come and sing to feel better. Uh, where I could walk in if I'd had a panic attack myself, and the singers didn't expect to see me smiling and laughing. Um, a safe place where everybody could be honest and open and be supportive. So Sing Out Strong was born, and the singers immediately embraced the idea of our equality, our inclusivity. Music, the inspiration that had got me up off my bathroom floor when I was broken, um, was helping people all over the place. It was wonderful to see. But then COVID hit this year, and we were told that we couldn't have choirs or sing anymore. And it was a huge blow because not only could we not experience the joy of music, but that social connection that had kept us all going, me included, didn't exist anymore. It's no wonder that so many people's mental health suffered. Mine certainly did. So I switched to running choir rehearsals online for free. And I decided to make them open and available to anybody around the world that might be missing their regular choirs or looking for that social support. The weekly rehearsals quickly morphed into full-scale virtual choir projects. And if you follow SOS, you'll know that we are just about to close our fifth project, Jubilate. We've been featured in the last 6 months on the BBC, ITV, Good Housekeeping, Wellbeing Radio, Happyful magazine. Each time the emphasis has been on how we are helping people look after their mental health and boost their well-being through music. We've sung for hundreds of hours with something like 8,000 singers now around the world in 80 different countries. And frankly, if that's not a testament to the power of music, then I don't know what is. So although we were unable to sing in person, we at least found a way that we could keep doing it remotely, with me leading sessions in my living room downstairs, you all joining in and singing from yours, I hope. Um, and I don't know about you, but I started to feel a lot better. I felt like there were still people out there, albeit behind closed doors. Then in June, I got laryngitis, and stupidly, I kept singing through it. We were in the middle of Baba Yetu, our big project, and it was just me running all the rehearsals, all the sectionals, doing all the tracks. And I kept the rehearsals going when I should have really put my hands up and taken a few weeks off. Um, I didn't want the singers to miss out just because I had a bit of a sore throat. Fast forward to today, and my singing voice has completely gone. I'm talking to you now pre-recorded because I'm about to start some medical investigations to see the true extent of the damage, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk to you again for a while. The thing that kept me going, and you, throughout the most trying part of COVID, has now gone completely. I'm not sure it's really sunk in with me yet. I don't have enough information. I have no idea how it's going to affect my mental health. But I've had a lot of time over the last 3 months to reassess again and to really think about what matters to me and what I've done wrong in terms of looking after myself on a day-to-day basis. I've become a time to change champion, and I've taken courses in psychological first aid and mindfulness, all sorts of things to enable me to work deeper in the field of mental health. And I've learned a lot along the way. And that is what I really want to share with you today. This is a WRAP, WRAP, a Wellbeing Recovery Action Plan. They're often used when people have a mental health crisis to help them get back to a rewarding life afterwards and reduce the risk of crisis happening again. This is my own version of the action plan that I have been developing for my new Women's Mental Wellbeing Support Challenge called 1 Month to Wonderful. One of the things I've had time to do since I haven't been singing the last couple of months is to look at other ways to help women remotely, particularly in terms of women's mental health. And so I've started a blog and I'm developing a lifestyle reboot. We know that mental health is a big problem for guys. Ewan talked to us about that last week. Men have a tendency to keep it all in, to appear manly and not want to cry or talk or deal with problems in that way. But I wanted a way to help women based directly on my personal lived experience of mental health. Women, I believe, are more naturally called upon for emotional support than men. We give a lot of ourselves daily as caregivers and in terms of social stability for our friends and families. And unfortunately, although women are more open and honest about struggles and do tend to talk more, we also try to hold ourselves together and focus on helping others instead, our children, our parents, our partners, our friends, and our colleagues. So sadly, it seems like nobody is really talking about mental health because of the men having the masculine stigma and the women wanting to be there for others. And unfortunately, that stigma does still exist. I've encountered a lot of it today, and it's such a shame when you consider what the world has been through these last 6 months. So anyway, back to the WRAP. As you can see, the action plan is color-coded like traffic lights. It's designed to help you make yourself a priority so that you never get to that point of mental health crisis like I did. Whenever you find yourself struggling, you use this to help stop your stresses in their tracks, and you do this by practicing a little self-care. So here's the big question for you today. What is self-care? And I'll give you a second to think about that. Basically, self-care is any deliberate action that you can take to help you look after your mental, emotional, physical, and social well-being. And the key word there is deliberate. It's the act of taking scheduled time out of your day or sneaking a few minutes when you can to perform an activity that makes you feel better and be stronger and healthier. And yes, it can be pampering, it can be a bubble bath or having your hair done, but it can be a sensory activity such as walking in the countryside, cooking, listening to music. It can be physical, like going for a run, looking after your body, eating healthily, getting enough sleep. Or it can be emotional, like meditating, talk therapy, journaling, mindfulness, things like that. And of course, that's for guys as well as ladies. Mindfulness and self-care are important for everybody. So the green section on the WRAP is your day-to-day life. It's whatever is normal for you. This is the time when you feel able to cope with your daily challenges, your diary. You're effective at keeping all your plates spinning at once. The section is what we call your daily maintenance, and it involves whatever you need to keep yourself healthy and happy. So start by asking yourself, what am I like when I'm mentally healthy? And what do I need to do or not do to keep myself at this level? So, for example, it could be something as simple as I know I need 8 hours sleep every night, or I struggle to concentrate the next day. And therefore, the thing that you need to do is you need to go to bed early enough every night so that you guarantee your 8 hours. That sounds simple enough, right? So for me, the answers are when I'm mentally healthy, I'm able to properly balance my home and my work life. So at home, my kids, mealtime, school drop off, homework, things like that, quality time with them, film nights, walks, expeditions, I don't know, walking the dog. Um, my job, so creating material for choir, composing things, running social media, all the bits and pieces I do, scheduling, teaching, all of those bits. And then also for the mental health work that I'm doing more of, researching and writing blog posts, taking training for professional development, and supporting women remotely. Because of my anxiety, I tend to overthink things and go back over work that I've already done perfectly well. And so I can get overwhelmed really quickly and easily. So my daily maintenance solution is to not try to do so much at one time, and also to find some quiet time in between just to de-stress and just to take 5 minutes to rebuild so that I can go back into the fray stronger than I was before. The next level on the wrap is the yellow level, the triggers. Now, these are the things that are likely to set off this unhelpful chain reaction. This is the self-awareness part. And you need to learn what your personal triggers are, what things are likely to pull you out of your happy green zone and towards the red and towards the stress and the struggling. So if you are that person that relies on 8 hours sleep a night, but then you suddenly have a late night out at a party or something, you know that your sleep is going to be affected and therefore you are going to suffer accordingly. So that would be a choice you've made. You've chosen to go out and you've chosen to forgo your sleep. But you might also be a new parent. You might rely on 8 hours sleep a night and suddenly you've got a new baby at home and you're lucky if you get 2 hours joined up. So that would also have a knock-on effect on you. For me, as I said, I tend to get overwhelmed easily. I take on too much, and I know now how much I can handle. Um, my trigger comes when I'm asked to do additional things on top of that. So if something unexpected comes up, or if a plan is changed last minute and I have to reprioritize, that's when I tend to get towards my yellow trigger level. This then takes us up to orange, which is the early warning signs. Now, remember, we're not just using this to avoid mental crisis. Some people are better at coping with change than others and may never reach a mental crisis point in their lives. And if that's you and you can handle things, then I salute you. But we can use this action plan to ensure that you never even get to unhealthy levels of stress or tiredness. So even if you're good at handling the big stuff, you can still make sure you don't get to yellow to orange on the little stuff. So you can start looking for warning signs that you might be having a tough time, even if it never goes that far. And that starts with, again, a bit of self-awareness, asking yourself, how am I different now? How has this affected me? It could be something glaringly obvious, like you are irritable with everybody. And if you are, then I really, really hope they'll tell you. I'm sure they will tell you if you are becoming irritable and grouchy with everyone. But it might be something more subtle. It might be that you struggle to sleep or to fall asleep so easily, or you are struggling to get motivated in the mornings. Your concentration might slip. You might you might isolate yourself socially and start pulling out of going to social functions. You may no longer enjoy things that you used to enjoy freely and regularly. And of course, there are also physical health problems with your stress levels getting too high. Things like heart disease, which is largely unseen until it's too late, diabetes, sudden weight loss, sudden weight gain, migraines, and ultimately it could be a sort of total nervous exhaustion for your entire body. So at the orange stage, we need to take action so that the problem doesn't progress any further. What could you do now to take you back down the scale towards the green zone? So for me, when I've passed my triggers and we're at early warning signs, I start to get upset more easily. I get very anxious about things. And what I need to do is to start to delegate tasks, speak up when it's too much. Just be honest with people and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. And even just to pull out of things if you need to. It's not nice to bail on people, but sometimes you need to just take a step or three back just to protect yourself. Following the orange stage is the red, further warnings. This is the section that tells you that you really should have done something. However, what if at the orange stage you were unable to help yourself? What if you were not in a position to do it? You couldn't, you didn't. What if something else happened and it just added to that level rather than taking away from it? What if you had laryngitis but you kept singing regardless? You know, what if you did something that didn't help rather than something that did? And now, by this stage, your problem is worse and you need to put some major changes in. At the red stage, we need to put caring for ourselves as our top priority. If you are going to avoid permanent mental or physical damage, you must do something about it now. Now is the time to take a few days off work. Now is the time to pull out of that birthday thing. Now is the time to not try and run the PTA and run for the local councillor at the same time. Don't train for a marathon unless that's your self-care and that's what keeps you sane. You also need to have a conversation with your nearest and dearest and then tell them that you are really struggling, and they will step up and help, believe me. The black level on the wrap is crisis point. This is where you really need some help. If it's urgent, in the UK, you should call the Samaritans on 116 123. Phil, who is talking to you 2 weeks from today, will be telling you all about what resources are available for you when crisis hits. And don't forget that Sing Out Strong has provided a booklet of guidance, places you can reach out to if you want something specific to your problem. If you're in the USA, I know lots of our followers are American, you can ring the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline on 1-800-273-8266. If you don't want to involve the professionals, either by telephone or through counselling, then you can go to your GP. Believe me, antidepressants are not the only way they will try to help you. Please don't write off going and talking to your doctor. And if all of that seems a little bit too intimidating, then talk to a friend or a family member, a trusted colleague, a group leader, someone you know in your church or your community. If you are at the stage where you need to seek help for your mental illness right now, I wish you all the luck in the world with it. Finally, after mental crisis has hit and hopefully been helped, you can begin to think about recovery. Well, in fact, you can think about the blue stage at any point during your mental health journey. But in the blue stage, you ask yourself, what permanent changes can I make to avoid this happening again? And I will stress that again for you. What permanent changes can I make? And it could be, if you really have hit rock bottom, that it's time for you to change jobs. It's time for you to end a turbulent relationship. It's time for you to move to another part of the country. But whichever direction you choose to go, it should be a permanent change for good. And it will enable you to live stronger and healthier, deal with challenges more effectively, and make plans knowing that there will be a future for you to enjoy them. The Wellbeing Recovery Action Plan is already available for you to download and use at home. You can find it on our website, www.singoutstrong.co.uk/opening up, and it'll be available on our Facebook page too. If you're interested in hearing more about my Women's Support Challenge, you can find all the details for that on my blog, healthhappyharmony.com. The challenge is called 1 Month to Wonderful, and it's absolutely free of charge. It takes place in the month of October, and it helps you learn all about the importance of self-care and will make you mentally stronger to deal with whatever life throws at you next. My final thought for you today is that I wouldn't be here talking to you without the support of my family and friends. When I hit rock bottom, they were there, and they didn't always know what to do, but they listened, and they listened, and they listened. Make sure that you have somebody that will listen to you when times get tough, and make sure that they know when it's time to step in and help you if you're not in a position to help yourself. Thank you for continuing to support Sing Out Strong and the Opening Up campaign. Our talk next week is with Sarah Collerby from Time to Change in Worcester, and she will be urging you some more to start talking about mental health.